Hello, everybody. What is going on? It is the Schwantz27 here with another Worlds Collide Warring Triads race. I am joined in the commentary booth by Joker Mage. Joker Mage, how are you doing on this fine Friday afternoon?
I'm feeling a bit itchy, like there's some kind of animal inside me, like some kind of canine.
Yeah, so we are going to be showcasing the fight for the best team, or I guess the best team in the Warring Triads Nemesis group today. We've got our standings up on screen. Team Doomgaze and Team Guardian have both punched their tickets into the bracket round. They will be moving onwards, but the seeding will be determined by this very match right here. So if Team Guardian can eke out a win, then they will have a higher individual win total than Team Doomgaze, and both teams will be at a 5-1 record. However, if Team Doomgaze can win, they will cement their spot as the first 6-0 team here in our Warring Triads event, and that means they will get the first seed in their particular group. Why do you say, hey, wait, isn't there 3 people that have to race? Well, yes, there are. However, as you can see by our screen here, both DrinksGlue's Team Guardian and Team HunnyDoo's Team Doomgaze, as I need to correct the heading, are tied at 1 game apiece. And we will be using Goddess's flag set today, Goddess's Edict. So, Joker Mage, you want to talk to us a little bit about that while I fix up some other things?
Yeah, so Goddess Edict is one we don't get to see that often. We're often looking at Poltergeist. So this is going to be quite a bit different because you start with 4 characters, which I think is the most of any of the Triad. You got a 7-character unlock, 10 Esper unlock, dragons or help injure lad, which is not a very common thing to see, will get you auto shell, auto haste. The most important thing perhaps is that auto overcast and auto condemn, which basically means once auto overcast is triggered after your 7th check, whenever you die, your characters become zombies instead of corpses, and that means you need to be using revivifies instead of phoenix downs. And that auto condemn just means everything's on a timer, so you better get practicing with your weight tricking. Multi-summon is on, that's always good. Magic points are going to be up there, and you're going to get some more lores. So plenty of magic to go around here. And as you can see, as with all of our Warring Triad flag sets, we do try to unclutter, simplify your magic menu by taking away all the unnecessary spells. So you don't need any of those fire or ice spells, and who cares about Merton? Merton's overrated, right?
Overrated.
So we're just going to take him away, and you're just going to be stuck with lightning spells. There's plenty of item rewards for your dead checks, but just remember, 7 checks gets you overcast and condemned, so you better be watching for that.
Yeah, who needs Merton when you do have access to Ultima in this seed? So we'll see if any of our runners get the jackpot when it comes to getting Ultima. And only having defensive item rewards means that our runners are going to be looking for their offense in this particular seed. So we will see what type of offense they come up with during their looting route. Also want to give a shout out to Knuckly Kong gifting some gift subs in tier 1 out to the chat. So we will be doing a couple of marathons for charity coming up here in the month of March. We have one in the middle of March. That is on March the 16th at 12 noon on a Saturday. That is a 2v2 co-op multi-world race for Multithon, so that'll be really interesting having a co-op come. And we also have Friday night, March 29th at 7:45 p.m., a Worlds Collide showcase race for Randothon. So shout out to you, Knuckly, for helping to contribute towards that, because all of our donations and Twitch subs and things like that goes towards our next community donation for those marathons. So also thank you, Papa Shango 53. You were a wrestler a very long time ago, but you're here with us now, and that's all good to me as well.
So going back to this particular matchup, we did see, I believe, actually on one of the SG weeklies, speed gaming weeklies that we do, we did see HunnyDoo and DrinksGlue, I think, fight before a few weeks ago. I forget the flags. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Goddess Edict, but HunnyDoo did narrowly eke out a victory over Glue back then. So this is sort of like the rematch that we're looking forward to. And so, I imagine that Glue has a bit of a, wants to get a win on this to even up that individual 1-to-1 score.
That's right. That was week 3. Poltergeist Fury, HunnyDoo, coming in with a 9-minute 51-second win over DrinksGlue. So we'll see if DrinksGlue can turn the tables here. And I think we should get started. So let's go ahead and play the VOD. So this is not live. This is going to be a VOD cast. So this is a match that's already happened. So we'll see what's going on here. And our runners will be off and started, as they do have access to Shadow, Umaro, Cyan with Jump, and Setzer.
That's a blitz on Shadow, it looks like. So that's a pretty decent starting party, I think.
Yeah, lots of things available to us right away. We can go to the World of Ruin Narsh in order to do Umaro's checks. We have Gao Manor, which is a freebie. We have Kolingen Inn, which is also a freebie as well. Let me see if I can get these. Why is my race audio not playing through? So why don't you talk about what's going on while I try and get some beepity.
So we also saw, as we saw, Umaro's there, and I know Glue really is a fan of Umaro. I don't know if we're going to see Umaro go all the way. Maybe we will. But we're basically just doing an initial looting run through World of Balance Narsh, and they're going to basically just, loot out that one treasure room, and then do some basic shopping. We got some throwables and some potions. Definitely stocking up on those revivifies. That, like we mentioned, once that overcast triggers, revivify is your only answer to getting your party back into fighting form. And
ooh. Yeah, so
there are plenty of revivifies were purchased by both sides, and we do see them going up further. This is World of Balance, and they don't have Terra and they don't have Mog, so the only thing up here at this point, I think they both kind of realized they need to be in World of Ruin and turned right around.
I think that was a peak of the Yeti check, and since there wasn't a character there, the Sasquatch lives in the mine. 13 battles on the curse shield from that guy there. So yeah, we already have a dragon horn in our inventory from our brief looting that we got here, so that'll go great with our jumper. And a big shiny sword in the weapon shop there. We're gonna have to come back a little bit later when we can afford that.
That pearl rod could also help. Probably not as valuable as finding an ice rod or a fire rod, though, because given that we don't have access to those spells, flame shield, ice shield, fire rod, ice rod would be very valuable finds.
Yeah, so it looks like Glue is going to go ahead here and check Gao Manor, saving beforehand, and that is Katana Soul in the Classroom Monster in a box. So HunnyDoo already knows where an offering is, as well as those Ragnaroks in a shop. So it seems like we've got some decent offense already on in this seed here, Joe.
Yeah, we have dried meat for sale at Gao Manor as well. So if we do find Gao himself, that Vel check is fairly easy to get to.
All right, so HunnyDoo grabbing a couple of more boxes here in Narsh before heading out. And it looks like Glue is going to head for the other free check here that we mentioned earlier. The Kolingen Inn from Setzer is going to save right before heading in. This way they can reset if it's not a reward that they like. And let's see what it is. It's a different type of Ragnarok. But it looks like it's a good one nonetheless. Strength +2.
There is some decent spells on that thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, HunnyDoo grabbing Elemental Shield out of a chest. As you mentioned, we will not be learning any fire spells. So that is just simply for elemental protection, or you could break in case of emergency there to cast a defense ignoring maximum damage tier 3 fire spell.
Yes, so there's been some very interesting shops so far.
Yeah, so the two espers that Glue got, one had all black spells and one had all healing spells. I think Cure 2, Cure 3, Life 2 as well. Unfortunately, Life 3 doesn't do much in the Goddess's Edict flag set because instead of dying, you turn into zombies. So Life 3 never actually triggers because your character never actually dies. So that's just an interesting quirk.
There is no spell that reverses zombie, correct? It's just the Revivify item.
That is correct. So if you try and use Remedy or Heal Horn, which is the unicorn summon, that's not going to work for you either. So Revivify the item is the only way to counteract zombie. And more specifically, it's the only way to counteract the overcast status. Because even if you have an amulet or a ribbon on, that doesn't prevent the zombie status persisting between fights. So that's just something to keep in mind here. As HunnyDoo gets blocked by that old man. Get out of my way, geezer!
Yeah, it's important to remember that the Y remove is only in Poltergeist. It's not in Goddess.
Mark from the chat reminding me that there is a thing called Spiraler. Does Spiraler actually cure? That would be awesome.
I'm not entirely familiar with Spiraler. Could you explain?
So it is a blitz, and it basically heals your enemies for a better than Cure 3 heal, and it removes basically every status in the game, including zombie. However, the person that uses Spiraler, or in this case it'll be Shadow, because Shadow has blitz, gets removed from the fight entirely, and you have to bring them back. So it's kind of like being your character does the possess after effects, or you got to go find them on the airship afterwards, or they get removed from your party, kind of like Baba Breath does in the Moblitz fight there. So
it's also important right now. I think if I did the math right, Glue is on 2 checks out of the 7.
That is correct. So the thing is, since scaling is based on the amount of checks times 2.5, the first check is quote-unquote free because 0 times 2.5 is 0, but the enemy's minimum level is 3. So whether you do 0 checks or 1 check, the enemies will still be at the same level.
Now, have you done a lot of Goddess Edict yourself?
I did my Goddess Edict run like a week and a half ago because I had to do it early because of the circumstances of my opponent. So it's been a while since I've done a Goddess's Edict.
I'm just curious. Would you rush the 7 checks just to get Overcast started in this? Try to like live within the Overcast, or do you want to delay that as long as possible?
Yeah, I don't let the Overcast bother me anyway. You know, like let it go almost. If the checks are worth going to, right? Like I don't want to take dead checks, that's for sure. And that's why you saw Glue saving before he checked those 2 free checks. So if I was Glue, I would be fine with taking those 2 checks under my belt. The thing is, with Goddess's Edict, right, we start with 4 characters, and the enemy scaling is based on the checks, but the enemy's XP and GP that they give you is based on your character's espers and items, right? So starting with more characters means those early grind fights are going to give you more XP and more GP, so you actually tend to level up a little bit faster in a Goddess flag set than you do in other flag sets. So that's why I'm okay with taking some checks early, because you're going to get even more rewards than you would out of any other flag set.
Yeah, and we did see Glue selling a few extra things and buying even more Revivifies. I mean, might as well. It's the answer.
Yeah, you want to have... I usually buy anywhere between 10 and 20 for Goddess's Edict, because you're essentially replacing Phoenix Downs, which can be supplemented, as you mentioned, by other magical spells too. But in terms of spells, there aren't any. And Glue sold enough stuff for him to get a big beefy Ragnarok, so he's going to use that on one of his characters. So I know that Shadow has Blitz. I don't remember which one of our other characters has Jump. But I'm assuming that Glue is going to put that Ragnarok. Oh, there it is. It's on Cyan. So Cyan, unfortunately, is the one with jump. So going to use the Dragon Horn early on, which I think I'm okay with, because the Ragnarok will do double damage if you have MP to take advantage of its proc capabilities. But
we
since
saw
we're early on in the seed, we don't have any magic really right yet.
Yeah, we saw Glue put on double earrings on Shadow to take advantage of the fact that Blitz scales off, most Blitzes scale off magic power.
Look what HunnyDoo found, though, in the relic shop of World of Ruin Narsh. Those are experience eggs, my friends. So, while DrinksGlue spent 60k on a Ragnarok, HunnyDoo spent 60k on an experience egg. So that will most certainly go on his Blitz user to try and get Bum Rush as fast as humanly possible here.
The other appropriate use for Revivifies is just to instantly kill any undead enemies, as we just saw Glue do.
Yeah, so I like Glue here taking some grind fights. As I mentioned, these are much more valuable in Goddess Edict flag sets than other ones for sure. Meanwhile, HunnyDoo is still shopping around here, heading over to Thamasa. There's 5 or 6 chests and getting a Rage Ring for Yeti as well. Rage Rings will also protect you from fire and lightning damage, so it's a pretty good relic to have for elemental protection. And we've already seen an Ice Shield and a Flame Shield, and now with those 2 Rage Rings, I know we are not getting Merton, and there's a Minerva too. If we had Merton, Honey already has Merton protection.
Well, there are some enemies that can still use Merton in this, and so that does help save, cover ground against those guys.
All right, so Honey looks like they sold off enough. They're going to buy 1 experience egg, but then come back here and buy this Ragnarok for one of their party members. Glue is going to find the Katana Soul monster in a box. We'll see if he tries this now or saves it for later. Looks like he's going to try it for now.
I do kind of like trying this early just because the overcast is a thing, and it feels like this fight might be a bit more tedious once overcast comes into play.
All right, so
I don't know that for certain though.
Yeah, so Honey buying a Ragnarok and then 4 Pearl Rods, so he is stacked and ready to go. He just needs to basically figure out how to arrange his party so that it does the most damage here. The other interesting thing, as Mark points out, is Katana Soul usually coughs up a lot of gold or GP. That would be nice for Glue to supplement his need to buy yet another Ragnarok, as there goes Katana Soul. Absolutely correct, Joker Mage. You might as well do this now while the scaling is low and you don't have to worry about that pesky overcast.
And this doesn't count as a check, so you getting this doesn't affect that overcast trigger at all.
That's correct. He just grabbed 36k from that fight. As I mentioned, a pretty lucrative fight, and he's going to head back up and grab another Ragnarok here. So lots of power early on in this seed. Now it's up to our runners to route this correctly, and with 4 characters, we've got lots of different options and branching paths as to where we're going to go. But it looks like what Honey is going to do is going to head into Doma Castle, and then walk up to some soldiers and say, "Fight me, bro," and initiate some random battles to get some levels here.
This is also just a, peekable check, because if a character had come out of that, we would have been able to get character number 5 out of this. But it was just Shadow, so we know there's not a character here.
Yeah, so it looks like Honey's approach is, I got Pearl Rods, I'm going to use them. I don't need to grind to get any levels at all. And with Welk, it's going to be pretty easy. I think maybe 1 or 2 of those will do it, and it's just 1 Pearl Rod. Welk down on one side and about to be fought on the other. Yeah, Welk is not a boss you really want to see with a Yeti in your party or a Blitz user that can't target things.
We just see that these extra soldiers here appear to be mag rotors.
Yeah, one of the various different palette swaps here, and it looks like, did HunnyDoo grab a second Esper?
Yeah, that was Zone Seek.
Well, I know he has one. I didn't know if he grabbed the other one from Gal Manor yet or not. I don't think he did Kolingen, and here we go. He's going to Gal Manor to get his other Esper now. So, Joker, where are we going next? Are we doing some of our multi-part checks like Cyan's Dream or Floating Continent? Are we heading into Ebbett's Rock for a pretty brief encounter?
Well, we don't have Strago yet, so I'm not sure there's value in Ebbett's Rock, but
I mean, not
Daryl's Tomb
Ebbett's
is
Rock,
peekable.
the other thing. The Velt Cave.
Daryl's Tomb.
And Daryl's Tomb, yeah. Excuse me.
I'd like Daryl's Tomb for a shorter check. I mean, it's not the shortest check, maybe, but it's peekable. It's not terribly hard to get to. They're right by the Coliseum now, so that's not too far away either.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this play here into the Coliseum. We already have the goods for this seed. What more do we really need? We found experience eggs. We found Ragnaroks. And
yeah, I unless he was hoping to find something like Illumina or something just really extra special. There's no bonus for Coliseum in this flag set, is there?
That's correct. The Poltergeist Fury flag set does give a Dragoon set on a Coliseum win. This one, however, gives Bupkis. And speaking of Bupkis,
oh yeah, there we
that
go.
is Narapa. Our runners are pretty much in sync here, so they've got the same line of thinking as far as checks goes.
And we're getting a slight preview of having everyone condemned just because Narapa is going to Narapa. But yeah, this is rarely ever a really scary fight. Usually it's more just of a time sink.
That's right. This is not a boss, it's a time waste. And alright, so that's going to be another Esper for each of our runners here from the Search the Sky spot. So Glue is out to a little bit of a lead here and has a level advantage. But HunnyDoo, I would argue, with that experience egg, might make things interesting over the long haul.
We did see Cure 3 on that Starlet.
Yeah, that Starlet's pretty loaded. Cure 3, Life 3? Is that what that is? Yeah, Life 3 is useless in this seed, unfortunately. And just like that, no, not that terrible TV show, but HunnyDoo here grabbing Shiny Stone number 4, so our runners are all tied up once again.
And Glue's, of course, following the dog, where it leads inside.
He's got that dog in him. Meanwhile, just taking a peek at the shops for HunnyDoo here. Grabbing some warp stones, which are always nice to see.
There's sleeping bags, which would be also a pretty good buy if you haven't already gotten a stock of them lined up.
Alright, so you can peek the Velt Cave. We'll see what the reward is here in just a moment. And it is another Esper, so DrinksGlue is going to continue on, because this is not a dead check. So we're not even 20 minutes into the seed yet, Joker Mage, and we already know where 5 Espers are.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the sort of things that happens when you have 4 starting characters, is there's just, a lot available to you. And these particular characters do have quite a few, peekable checks amongst them.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a fun fight here for DrinksGlue, and what he's doing now is he's making his characters run away so that Umaro doesn't hit the part of the boss that can't actually be hurt and just wastes more time. So that's, even though you can't run away from boss fights with these settings, that's something that you can do to sort of tame the Yeti, if you will.
Additionally, this is a fight where you would really love to have some fire magic, and we just don't have that. I don't know if Shadow has enough levels for Fire Dance, but that could be one solution to some of our elemental woes.
Yeah, Aura Bolt actually will probably do better in this fight, because the Pearl element is also one of Chatternook's weaknesses, and Aura Bolt is a stronger spell than Fire Dance is. But HunnyDoo is going to have a much better time with this fight because he's got that stack of Pearl Rods in his inventory.
However, HunnyDoo is doing Daryl's Tomb instead, so we're going to see what this is shortly.
Can read the inscription on the tomb before you start the fight, and that's another Esper.
Yeah,
So,
that's correct. Additionally, we saw Honey totally skip the monster in a box that was in the previous room because he already knows where Katana Soul is.
Alright, it looks like Honey is going to opt to use the Pearl Rod here on Vargas. Don't blame him. Vargas has a lot of HP deceptively, and that's because in the vanilla game, you're supposed to use Pummel on him, so his HP is pretty high in the vanilla game, and it just scales upwards based on our scaling settings. So,
and we do have Pummel available if we want to just cheese this, but you don't get any experience for it. And I think that's kind of what HunnyDoo wants right now, is that DXP from that fight.
Yep, makes sense. So dispatches of Vargas, and as chat points out, the newest Apple product, the iPoos, the Apple toilets. Hey, magic power +1. That's nice for your Blitz user, huh?
Yeah, anything that boosts that eventual bum rush is going to be very helpful.
Alright, so let's see where our runners decide to go. It looks like Glue is dipping his toes into the Coliseum here. HunnyDoo looks like they're parked outside of World of Ruin Narsh, so they're going to head up the mountain here, take on the Tritox spot, which is Esper item only, take on the Yeti spot, which we know is not a character, because we peeked it earlier, and then a dragon. So we still don't know where our 5th character is here, Joker, and we're rapidly running out of checks that are not named Floating Continent.
Well, there's also, we do still have Doma Dream, but more importantly, if HunnyDoo does all of the checks that's available in World of Ruin Narsh, he will hit the number 7, and we'll have Overcast before he's out of World of Ruin Narsh.
DrinksGlue there, heading into the Coliseum, picking up an economizer, so we'll see if that comes into play later on in the game. We do have Ultima available to learn, but we do not yet have a Curse Shield available to teach it to us. Alright,
okay, so Blue is going to see Carbuncle here. That'll be checked, assuming he hasn't taken any dead checks, that will be checked 7, or check 6, I mean.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't think our runners have hit a dead check yet.
Or if they have, they've just reset out.
Alright, we'll see if HunnyDoo decides to head up the mountain. And gonna go ahead and go another route. I think this is another experience egg. Yeah. This makes sense here. He just won a ton of money from that fight.
We do kind of see a sort of divergence in the long-term strategies, because it does feel like Glue spent his money on those Ragnaroks, so he's getting power now, whereas HunnyDoo is spending that money on experience eggs, which is going to be power later.
Yeah, he's going to get higher levels, and levels are the most important thing in Worlds Collide, more than stats, more than your gear. So Experience Egg was on Cyan, and now he's got one for Shadow, his Blitz user, so almost certainly going to be looking towards unlocking Bum Rush on him.
What are we doing with Setzer right now?
That is a wonderful question that I do not have an answer for. He is.
It almost feels like he's going to be like the caster, unless we find like Fixed Dice or something, or a different character that can do the magic caster role better.
I would jettison him as soon as I find another person that could equip that Ragnarok, because we haven't even found people that can equip the Ragnarok in vanilla. We haven't found Locke, Terra, Celeste, or Edgar yet.
At the same time, we still have Yeti, so maybe, I mean, I don't know if Glue will jettison the Yeti, but Honey might.
Yeah, it depends on what we find here. If we find 2 more Ragnarok users for our 7 characters, then I would highly anticipate the Yeti goes bye-bye. Because even if the Yeti can wear the Ragnarok, the Yeti will not be able to get the 2x damage MP crit from the Ragnarok, because the Yeti doesn't earn any magic points, right? So there's no point in using the Ragnarok with Umaro. Same goes for Illumina. Alright, so HunnyDoo here and DrinksGlue, they're just neck and neck following one another here into Mount Zozo. Oh, DrinksGlue's a little poor. Has to take off the Moogle Charm here, grind a fight to get some money to pay for the WD-40.
We got a Dirt Dragon up on Mount Zozo. It can open with some nasty stuff, but it looks like, you know, that was a perfectly survivable attack, and that Pearl Rod should do some work.
Yeah, Cave In is one of those fractional damage spells, so you're never too afraid when you see that one.
I think Landslide is the far worst one that has a similar, like, animation, right?
Oh yeah, and this is gonna kill Setzer there too. Life Shaver is actually an Earth Elemental spell, but it only deals damage based on how much damage you've done to the boss. Unfortunately, that means that we've done way more damage than we have health right now to the boss.
Double Down in chat is asking, I'm curious why they're both avoiding Doma Dream, and I kind of agree. I mean, it's possible that they're waiting to see if they find a sword tech user, but even then it'd be nice to have the sword tech user immediately online as soon as you find them. It could be that they're just trying to find some other stuff right now.
Ooh, that's a nice find there, the hero ring. Unfortunately, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the other possibility is Doma Dream is multiple checks, and so they are both very close to you know, getting that number 7 for their overcast, so might want to sort of save up that check for something, like just do more peekable checks to guarantee that they have power already before they go into overcast.
Yeah, I personally would be heading straight for Floating Continent as soon as I possibly could, right? Because there are 2 guaranteed pieces of progression there. Yes, it takes like 8 to 10 minutes to do the entire check, but at this point your options are Cyan's Dream, which can only have a character at the 2nd slot, or Floating Continent, or Kefka at Nourish. I think that's our only options that we have.
All right, we do have Dream incoming, it looks like. And auto overcast is been triggered on Glue side. We just saw that with that Dragon Flynn.
Yeah, I think maybe perhaps the idea was to avoid the multi-part checks at first, because we weren't sure whether or not we could beat more than one boss at a time. Right? That's what my fear is sometimes. What happens if I could beat the first boss of Dream, but I can't beat the second boss? I'm kind of stuck there. And now I've lost even more time because I've gotten further in the multi-part check. So that's always a concern too, to keep in mind. But with a bunch of Ragnaroks and some of the power that we've had early on in this seed, I wouldn't think we'd be in that spot. But again, there are bosses that we have no answer for right now. I'm not going to say which ones they are, because that means it's going to happen. Oh, here we go.
Well, we got Ghost Train.
Can HunnyDoo validate his seed here?
That Yeti took a 0 from the wheel there.
Well, I would have to think if Honey was on stream, he would give the people what he wants. But since this is a VOD after all, he might be like, hey, I need to get through this fight as fast as possible. So At least we got to instant death the ghost train, and that's probably second best. But when you have Blitz, User, and the suplex, you got to do it.
Did he have enough levels for suplex?
Oh yeah, you learn suplex at level 10.
Okay.
All right, there is an Esper for HunnyDoo, and 37k for that glowing stone into Zen. So we know that there's an Esper there in case we need one later. And let's see what the reward is at Cyan's Dream number 2. And there's a big beefy boy running across the train tracks. That is Sabin for our 5th character.
Now, I guess my question is, for goddess-like sets specifically, for obvious reasons, do you prefer helping the lad, or do you just do dragon hunts?
Well, dragons will give you levels and high-tier items, and will teach you spells, so that is preferable. However, if you are really struggling with like offense, say in early on in the seed, then maybe doing the injured lad might help, because you will get auto haste and auto safe to reduce the amount of damage incoming and to also get some more turns. But it is a 2.5 minute to 2 minute and 45 second thing that you have to do. So I can understand why somebody might not want to do that. It is a significant time sink for just getting some statuses on your party. Not only that, but with Condemned and Auto Haste, that means those numbers actually tick down faster when you have Haste on. So that might be a bit of a problem for some of our runners.
Yeah, and we do see that Glue has decided to take the other path and is in fact doing Floating Continent. And runs into some ninjas.
Ooh. Alright, so Honey will be on the precipice of getting character number 5, but he has to defeat whatever this boss is. Oh. And remember I was talking about bosses that you're going to have a hard time dealing with? This is one of them here. Thankfully we have non-elemental magic with Meteor, but without access to ice magic or fire magic, this fight is extremely difficult.
I mean, we could also just let the Yeti throw the other characters at them.
That is true. That Yeti throw ignores defense. Same with the Yeti body slam. However, the regular Yeti attack is not. So that's why you see it being very, very weak there.
And there was a question about Doma Dream. How many checks does it count as?
It counts as 3, because you fight the first spot where the Stooges are, and that's check number 1. This right here, you get the reward after this boss for check number 2. And then you can go pick up the Esper item on the throne for check number 3.
And we do see Budget Magimaster as at the Ultros Force spot.
Yeah, so that's interesting, chat, bringing up, you know, doing multi-part checks early on mitigates the risk of having to do them later when you already have some of your requirements but not all of them, and are potentially doing checks that are just wasting your time. What did Sabin have? I saw him get inserted into the party, presumably in place of Setzer, who was doing nothing for us, but I didn't see what ability he had.
It'd be pretty neat if he had a sword tech, but that looked like it was just a mage elixir on the throne, which, you know, might come in handy later on, but isn't really the progression you need right now.
Definitely nice to have for Fallen 1 later in the final Kefka fight. So even though our runners are trying to figure out how to deal with what's right in front of them, they're also thinking about the end game here, where they do have to fight Kefka at some point.
Okay, yeah, and so Honey did drop the Yeti, and so Setzer's still in the party.
Alright. Well,
and that was Ultros 3, I believe.
Yeah, so that's the second boss down. So Floating Continent at least didn't have a difficult boss to start off with. And that is a shiny stone on the ground. I think Glue is probably hoping for a character here. But nonetheless, it is progression. And you always want to be getting progression anyway.
That mod one had X Zone, it looks like.
Yeah, we already have a source of instant death on another Esper, so a bit redundant, but it is a shiny stone still, and we need those in order to unlock Final Kefka.
He put some earrings on Sabin, so is that an indication that he has some kind of magic-based ability, or is just going to be a caster?
Yeah, I would imagine that he's either going to be a caster or a magic user, because I would think that Honey checked to see if Sabin could use the Ragnarok, and since he can't, we're sort of stuck.
I mean, we already know that. I don't know. How much of the sword techs operate off of magic? It's not like as many as in the Blitz, right?
Almost all of them. Oh no, sword techs. I'm sorry, I thought you said blitzes. Yeah, so the sword techs that operate off of magic are 2, which you normally don't really use very often. 5, but with sword tech 5, you can only gain and absorb MP and HP, so there's a limit to how much damage you can do. And sword tech 6, which can also proc stop. The big other ones, 7, 4, and 1, namely, they are based on your strength stat and not your.
So the other ability that Sabin could have is Magitech.
And Honey is going to wish that he saved at least 1 Pearl Rod for this fight here. So we'll see what Sabin has.
That's a morph. Sabin has a Moogle suit on right now, which raises the question, is that made from Moogles or for Moogles? And that's Slot, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if that suit is real Moogle. The real Moogle ones are a bit more expensive, I hear.
But yeah, so it seems like Sabin is going to end up being a magic caster then, because that slot has some early use, but I think you're going to want to not want to be depending on the late game.
Yeah, absolutely. Slot is great for clearing out, grind fights, because it does do AoE attacks, but later on you're going to want more reliable sources of damage and magic. Meanwhile, DrinksGlue finding Haydn at the top of the floating continent here at the Atma weapon spot. So this will be an Esper an item for him. And then he's got one more check in order to find his 5th character before he is forced into Cyan's Dream or Kefka at Narsh.
Okay, yeah, so HunnyDoo just made quick work of that Chatternook. While Glue did get through Haydn, it looks like the Dragonhorn put in some work, and that's Unicorn at the second. So that's 2 Espers so far from Floating Continent.
Speed +2 on that, so definitely throw that on your jump user. That'll make sure they get down from being jumped more often and can take more turns. Magic power +2 on that Alexander, though. That was from Cyan's Dream.
And here's our chance to take out Kefka and win the game. And let's see if he can do it.
No, it's Cyan. He's going to fumble the bag as always.
Yep, okay, yeah. Turns out this Kefka here at this point still has plot armor.
2 forced encounters and 1 boss before we get off the floating continent for DrinksGlue. And for Honey, he has not yet leaned into those Sabin checks. And wow, a couple more rods and shops here.
Yeah, so Glue is probably really hoping that there's going to be a character at the end of this. Once we're through that 3rd, or I guess 4th and final boss for Floating Continent. And I almost imagine he might go ahead and do Dome with Dream after this, too.
All right.
So that's encounter 1 down.
So we haven't seen Kefka at Narsh yet, but other than that, this is the last chance that DrinksGlue can get a character before being forced into Cyan's dream.
Okay, we have Collapsing House, and that looks like a ghost there. It's more expensive in World of Ruin, so we might want to go back to World of Balance to get that Zen Thief check. And Ultros 2 is our... So we got a double dose of Ultros here at Floating Continent.
Atma weapon in a chest is interesting here in the Collapsing House. We'll see if anybody can use that Atma weapon. Not Sabin, and I don't see if Setzer could use it.
Yeah, that is kind of like one of the downsides for Sabin, is that his equip pool isn't like always the best.
All right,
and that is a spook. So your choice is Dream or Kefka and Narsh, but that's the 9th Esper that Glue has found.
Yeah, so what Glue's going to do here is he's going to go... Nope. A little bit of indecision. I thought he was going to go park his airship outside of Narsh, run up and go check Kefka at Narsh before committing to Dream, but it looks like he's going to commit to Cyan's Dream here.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there could still be a character up at Kefka and Narsh, but I doubt we'll see that unless we pick up, like, Mog from one of Sabin's checks.
Why is this doing this? Anyway. Yeah, the minor echo might have to be the way it is for now.
Okay,
I had
so
it working before the stream, of course, and then when I hit the button.
Ghost Train is, of course, peekable. You can go see what you're going to get and then say, no, I'm not going to sit through this entire Ghost Train for that.
Check the caboose. And it is Crusader. Let's see what's on it first, and then we may or may not reset out. And we're going to reset out. Interesting. Because there was stop on that Esper, and we know we are definitely fighting against Poltergeists later on in the seed. So Honey is going to maybe leave that for last. But not a character and not a great Esper, to be fair.
Okay, going immediately to Waterfall, that makes perfect sense. This is the advantage of Sabin, is like all his checks are just like right there. So you go 1, 2, 3, and you've got a lot of his stuff done.
All right, let's see if Glue validates his seed here. He's not going to. Not going to. So neither one of the runners win. We have to call this a draw. Drop them both out of the tournament. Nobody's going to go into the bracket stage. Yeah, this is some vanilla fish here for Honey. Alright, DrinksGlue getting Esper number 10 there. Interesting thing to note, if you look down towards the bottom of our tracker here, 13 Espers is skip. So Glue will at least have 10 with Sabin after this. We'll see if he just keeps going, because remember, he also knows that there's an Esper at Zen, so that's a possible 11th Esper for him. And he's probably going to peek Phantom Train as well and see that that is an Esper. So he might need only one more Esper to get skip based on the knowledge that we have here in the booth.
You see Fire Dance coming out. And we're still fighting some more piranhas, so we could be here for a while.
Do we know how many checks each of them is at right now? If you give me 1 second, I could pull up my video editing software and figure that out.
I mean, I could tell you they're more than 7, but after that...
Yeah, just give me a second here as we finally have Resobus out. Alright, so what time are we at here?
We got 43 minutes on the timer that I'm seeing, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, so glue is at least 11 checks, and honeydew is at least 9.
Yeah, so Honey's at 12 and Glue is also at 12.
So they did get a few dead checks here and there.
Yeah, the dragon counts as a check, and then there's a couple of dead ones, so they're both at 12 now. Well, Honeydew will be at 13 once he gets to the bottom here. Because remember, in Goddess's Edict flags, we do start with 4 characters. And it is Ifrit at the bottom Baron Falls. So, our character, then, Joker Mage, has to be at either Mount Colts or Kefka at Narsh. Based on...
This is...
Oh no, we didn't do Imperial Camp yet either. So, Imperial Camp, Mount Colts, Kefka at Narsh are our options.
This is shaping up to be somewhat linear if we continue to find non-characters.
Glue using Flare on Ifrit. One of the slower spells, but non-elemental, so it'll take care of the damage. Alright, so chat, where do we think our 6th character is? Imperial Camp, Kefka at Narsh, or Mount Colts? And who do we think it is? I'm going to go with Strago at Mount Colts. Old man wanders up a mountain.
I'm going to be generous and just say Mog at Kefka at Narsh. And it's not that generous, because you have to walk back down to trigger the Mog checks.
Yeah, going up to the top of Narsh twice is not what I consider fun. Alright, Honey sees that we are not at Imperial Camp here. So he's going to continue this because he doesn't have 10 Espers yet.
Okay, so that does mean we're down to Colts and Kefka and Narsh.
That is correct.
And if it is Kefka and Narsh, that means the Sabin was a dead end.
That which is insane. Because Sabin has 5 checks. Alright, so DrinksGlue can potentially get out to a pretty big lead here if he finds that 6th character before Honey does. But I anticipate that Glue will take these other checks first because they are way faster than doing Kefka Marsh or Mount Colts, even though Mount Colts is a very fast check.
I imagine they're just going to save Kefka and Narsh for last, like, just because that's typically what happens. But it might be the play to, like, sort of the, you know, the bold play that pays off is Kefka and Narsh.
Yeah, I agree, Zeno. I really like Mount Colts. Let's see. It's way more expensive in the world of Ruin, but Glue is already there, so he's going to pick up his 11th Esper. And I think...
Yeah, so he's definitely going for Esper skip.
Yeah, what was this here? Was this another Esper, or was this...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Is this Unicorn?
That sounds about right. We'll see shortly, though.
Another dead check from Honey at the end of Imperial Camp. So at the end of Imperial Camp and at the end of Collapsing House, our runners will be at 15 checks for Glue, because he just bought to Zen, and 14 for Honey.
And this is Mount Colts, it looks like?
This is Mount Colts, so this is either the answer or it's Kefka at Narsh, so get ready, people. Oh,
yeah,
I should have done a prediction. Darn it.
And like we said, they were going to... for some reason, you know, just because it's kind of tedious to get up there, Kefka and Narsh is usually put off till last. And it might be a kind of a big brain play to just go up to Kefka and Narsh real quick. Fixed ties for sale. That could turn your...
Hey, Setzer can finally do something. It only took us 48 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah, so we'll get the fight here against the boss, and then we'll see if this is character or not.
relatively
Okay,
easy
just
boss
a
as
tunnel
well.
armor. Yeah, this is, and we do have lightning magic, so this is even like easier than it. Like this won't be here for very long. Yep, gone.
All right, chat. The moment of truth. Is this our 6th character, or are we gonna have to trek up Narsh? It's Gao!
Okay, so we're going right back onto the Velt. They did that check, and then probably going to do Serpent Trench before we do Kefka and Narsh.
Alright, so I just started up a new poll for us. Where is our 7th character? We have Kefka at Narsh, we have Velt, and we have Serpent Trench. Get your votes in, chat. Let's do it.
Yeah, so right now, there's kind of like a timer for Glue to get to Mount Colts. And that's just because the longer he does these other checks, the more time HunnyDoo has to try and get that 7th character.
Yeah, so Glue, seeing that it's a soldier sprite, is going to reset out of that. And HunnyDoo accidentally took his Moogle Charm user out of his party. Which makes sense, because if you're going to the Velt, you want to take the Moogle Charm off anyway. But that unfortunately led to Setzer getting a little sick there.
Okay, we're going to take a peek at Ghost Train, see its Crusader, and probably reset out. So, I mean, that is another advantage of, like, Glue having 12 Espers already. You can just be like, okay, yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah, so Glue's levels, even without the experience egg, are actually higher than Honey's. And there it is, folks. Lock at the Velt.
Right away. Yeah, so we're going to see Waterfall, and he will have to go fight the entire Piranha sequence.
Alright, let's end our poll here.
So,
those
right
of you
now,
that guessed Serpent Trench, or not Serpent Trench, Velt, give yourselves a pat on the back there.
So Locke has really nice, easy check at World of Ruin Narsh with the weapon shop. And I think that's, I don't know if it's guaranteed to be an Esper, but it has a high chance of being Esper, right?
I think so, but, you know, it's one of those things where the checks that we have now, Serpent Trench can be anything, Weapon Shop cannot be a character, South Figaro Cave can be a character, and Phoenix Cave can be a character. So those would be our potential ways forward through the seed if we wanted more characters.
And we do know HunnyDoo hasn't, I don't think HunnyDoo's done to Zen Thief, so you go to Weapon Shop, you get that. If it's a he's doing Floating Continent.
Okay.
This
is a play. That was a misclick, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it would get him to 10 Espers, but it's going to be a long haul to get through that. So I think Weapon Shop to Zen Thief might be the sort of like the route HunnyDoo might want to do. And then possibly if Weapon Shop doesn't pay off, then you go do South Figaro Cave, because that's just a fairly quick run through. Yeah, so we're seeing the World of Ruin Weapon Shop check. That makes perfect sense. Like you said, it's definitely not a character, so if either of these options ends up being an Esper, that puts Honey on 9.
And it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is how you do predictions. You have to do it this way and not the other way.
So I still think HunnyDoo has to Zen Thief open, which we know, like we saw earlier, was an Esper, and I think HunnyDoo saw that it was a glowing rock. However, he's going up to do the Yeti check, I'm guessing, or actually Tritalk would be the, I guess, the play here.
Yeah, so we know that Yeti isn't a character, so I like this play a lot because Tritalk can only be Esper item, and then we know that Yeti is not a character, so it's also another Esper item coin flip. So
yeah, this is actually really nice routing too, since you could just, it came right off of that weapon shop check. Yeah, this is just really nice. Probably. Oh, okay. Have to fight the dragon.
yeah, if we want to learn some spells, we might as well. Yeah, so doing these 3 checks up here will bring Honey to... Let's see, he's at 17 right now. DrinksGlue is also at 17. It's hard to see his screen.
That dragon is not going to be lasting much longer, but tunnel armor, that means that DrinksGlue will be finding Gal very shortly.
Yep, and then he just has to go to the Velt, and he'll be in go mode, and he'll also be in I know where Skip is mode because he knows that there's an Esper on the Phantom train.
He might try to look around for a quicker Esper, but I don't know if they're where one might be.
Well, one might have been in the Norse weapons shop, but we know that that is a dead check.
So if you're Glue, do you go ahead and go after that Crusader?
Absolutely. You know when Esper's there. Phantom Train takes like maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops, and it saves you all that time walking through the tower. And at his levels, his team's ready to go.
Okay, so he's doing the same thing, pulling Setzer off.
Ooh, this is a nasty fight later on in the seed here with Air Force.
Luckily, Lightning is available, so Air Force is, damageable.
The casual quad 9s there from Shadow.
Yeah, Lightning is very effective against machines. Okay, we're going to go try to get that Lobo fight, because that's just nice and quick. And that is not an Esper, I don't think. That is just another Mega Elixir, unfortunately. Okay, so for HunnyDoo, he really needs this Yeti check to pay off.
I'm sorry, I turned away for a half a second.
Yeah, so Tritalk was a Mega Elixir.
Okay.
That's the second Mega Elixir I think they found. Okay, Locke did not show up after that fight, so DrinksGlue will have to take another Veld fight. This is kind of a race between whether or not this is a Magicite and if Glue can get that Locke. And nope, Locke is still playing hard to get. It is Magicite, so that is good news for Honey.
That's right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's great news for Honey. That's Golem.
Of all the Magicites that you want to see, that is one of them.
Okay, so, and I think Honey just needs, I don't think he's done to Zen Thief yet, so he just needs to Zen Thief, and that's his go mode. And just a Data Luma here, so this should not be a problem.
MC Hammerpants getting one shot there by that Atma weapon offering user. And that's that fight done.
Yeah, so the question now, Glue is kind of now behind a bit because he needs to get that Lock to show up so he can just finish off Ghost Trade and get Skip. That ninja just cast Merton. That ninja just damaged itself with Merton, not much else.
The problem with the Velt check is people will take different random encounters, right? So your random encounter table is going to be different for two different people almost no matter what, unless it's the very beginning of the seed.
Oh, HunnyDoo has the levels for Bum Rush, so it's going to get that first.
Yeah, it makes sense with that experience egg.
There's luck.
And there it is, DrinksGlue. Oh no!
Okay, that's frustrating.
Oh, Cyan, why you gotta mess everything up?
That is super frustrating.
Oh, F's in the chat for lock there.
All right, let's try this again, but not have Cyan go crazy.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Sorry, Locke, I was just kidding. Come join us. All right. No more premature clicking on lock this time. There it is, final Kefka unlock for DrinksGlue, our first runner to actually unlock Kefka, and we'll see whether or not he decides to head back to the Phantom Train for Skip. Let's see, how many checks is he at now? Oh god, what is that number? It's so small. $19.
Okay, yeah, so HunnyDoo is going for Zen Thief.
And
Glue is going for Bum Rush.
Yep. The Master Duncan Swinging Circus Spectacular here.
Okay, so does HunnyDoo just go straight into Tower now?
Let me double check how many checks he is on. He's at 21 right now, so I would take a dragon to get to 22 and get my skip.
Okay, and that's exactly what's going on here. 3 dragons gets auto shell, is that correct?
Yeah, so that reduces your incoming magic damage by 1/3. So that'll be nice against the statue bosses who like to cast nasty things at you.
And what's Glue's checks at?
Glue is at... He's at 20?
Okay, so that Crusader at Ghost Train is the best bet for Skip, correct?
I'm sorry, he's at 19. Yeah, so
Oh.
Glue doesn't know it yet, but the Norse Weapon Shop is dead. So that'll be potentially or check number 20. And maybe Glue is thinking, I don't want to go do Phantom Train, but that honestly is the fastest thing.
Yeah.
Other than potentially if he does this plus Dragon plus Tritalk, right? So that'll be 22.
But he'll miss out on the Golem, unfortunately. But I don't think there's any way he's getting Golem with this at this point.
No. It's much faster to do those 3 checks than it is to do the 3 checks at the top of Norsh.
Yeah, so this, like, I think he had,
There
like,
it
he
is,
has
auto
to do
shell complete, and then KT skip complete for HunnyDoo. So he's going to head into the tower now.
Yeah, so he is going to go, Glue is just going to go, like, Tritalk and the dragon, I guess.
Yeah, I would have to imagine he tries Tritalk first, because if he gets the Esper, then he doesn't have to fight the dragon, but... Sometimes the dragon is pretty hard to dodge.
Yeah. Meanwhile, HunnyDoo is going to be getting set up for going straight to the statues. Has Bum Rush, has a jump character, probably has Economizer and some high-level spells available for... So probably has answers to all of the lanes. And we know that Honey also has Golem for calmness protection once you get to the final Kefka fight.
Yeah, so he's also got Atma Weapon Offering, and he could use that to attack some of the bosses that have higher physical defense, like Poltergeist, like Goddess to get around Love Token, and like Doom to get around his second phase when he gets image status. So he's got some pretty good prep here. He has put the Rage Ring on Cyan, and I'm assuming he gave him that Ice Shield, so that means Cyan can absorb ice and fire and nullify lightning, so that's really good to have as an Atma user, because you do more damage when you have more HP on your character.
Right, yeah, and so right now it does feel like this is HunnyDoo's game to lose. Like, Glue has to get through maybe this fight to get Skip, or...
That's correct.
Yeah, and HunnyDoo's already set up and already into those fights. Rexel is at the Guardian spot. That's kind of annoying.
Not a fight you want with a untargetable offense here, but Cyan obliges. Thanks, Cyan. The first thing he's done right all seed, and it's been an hour and 4 minutes. Alright, so this will probably kill Rexel here, but we just have to watch this stupid animation first. And then Honey's got to contend with the statue bosses, so we'll see how he deals with that.
Okay, Honey has fixed dice on Sabin, it looks like. Oh, I'm sorry, Glue has fixed dice on Sabin.
Yeah, fixed dice offering Sabin, that makes sense. Sabin could not use the Ragnaroks or the Atma weapon, so that is the next best thing for him to do. And that's going to be Glue's Kefka Tower skip right there. He won't get his 13th Esper, but he will get a Mega Elixir, which will be helpful against Final Kefka. Glue has just got to get in the tower as fast as possible and hope that his boss fights go slightly better, because he's probably going to be 2 bosses behind by the time he gets into the tower here, as this is Goddess in this spot.
Yeti's just already going to town.
And there goes Yeti. Another, almost 14,000 damage turn there from HunnyDoo. One more of those should take care of Goddess.
That love token was kind of annoying, because that means the... Oh, there, we're through.
Yep, as I predicted, second boss down for Honey, and here comes DrinksGlue, right up the other side. So, Glue has got a little bit of catch-up to play here, but he's got that dog in him, so we'll see if he can overtake this time difference.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Glue sort of put his characters at the diagonal corners. Is that a counter to the Goddess arrangement for the party?
Yeah, so Goddess's fight is a side attack, which means you can have 2 party members on one side and 2 party members on the other side. What you want to do with the Goddess fight is put your party on different sides, because Goddess normally only attacks one side per turn. So it's a way to make sure that your party doesn't get wiped in one turn. Now, Goddess does do some AoE attacks that hit everything, but those are less often than her single-sided attacks. Yeah, so I don't think Glue has the Atma weapon offering. I think the Atma weapon was in the Collapsing House, and Glue did not bother looting it when he went in there. He just ran right through it. Either that, or maybe it was in Cyan's Dream. It was in one of those 2 checks, because Glue didn't... after a while with Worlds Collide, if you have everything you think you need, there's no point in looting. It just wastes time. And here's one way that Glue can catch up on time, taking care of Rexel much faster than Honey. So, clawing back a little bit of time here. Yeah. He's just going to have to keep going.
Glue had direct damage rather than that sort of untargetable and AoE damage.
Alright, and Cyan easily dispatching the fiend we call Doom.
Yeah, that was a really quick statue fight right there. So
Actually, that's not true. Isn't Fiend Poltergeist in later translations? I don't know. I was trying to make clever wordplay and I screwed it all up. My bad, chat. My bad.
anyway, we're going to see how Glue handles the same fight.
Yeah, so this is a vodcast. This race is already concluded, but we are watching this playback. So I basically just stitched the two races together and we threw the overlay under it.
And Glue is actually in chat and did confirm that he did not have the Atma.
Perfect. All right. Last boss for HunnyDoo here, and it is a spicy one. And this is not what Glue wants on his screen. He wants to go fast, and being frozen doesn't lend itself to going fast. Jumping with a horn and a Ragnarok normally is a bit of a head scratcher, but with Doom's second phase giving you the image status, there is a way around it with jump.
Okay. We're doing the Bum Rush on Poltergeist on HunnyDoo's side.
Yeah, I think he did learn Stop on his Shadow, so put Stop to good use against Poltergeist, and throwing them Pearl Rods now that he bought way back when. So excellent use of the resources he's got here in order to make this fight much faster.
Yeah, Glue did get through that just using Jump and Flare procs.
There you go. Alright, so Glue has two more bosses to go, and HunnyDoo is finishing up this one here.
Okay, Gal is already zombified, but...
Yeah, that's what Merton will do to you. Usually you don't equip your meat shields, so it makes sense that...
Yeah, and those Pearl Rods did some work along with that Bum Rush.
Yeah, so one of the things that a character can select when they're, berserked or zombied is the Rage command, and it's a random Rage, which can be really, really bad if it's one of those instant death rages and Gal just starts killing your whole team. Alright, Goddess for DrinksGlue, and he's going to use some quick strats here with that fixed dice offering against Goddess. So this is going to take a little bit of time, this fight, so we're going to give a little time back to HunnyDoo, who's poised and ready to step up to Final Kefka here, with a ridiculous time of 1:11:15 to the final statues.
I'm almost curious how much the final time, once we're at the end of this, is going to be affected by that very trolly lock that Glue had to hunt down in the Veld.
Yeah, that certainly might be the difference here between these two runners. Because they both did the same number of checks, even though, one looks like they have more progression than the other. Alright, so DrinksGlue getting through the Goddess fight. He's got just the Poltergeist fight to go, but we've got HunnyDoo on the precipice of Final Kefka. I think with access to Golem and instant death, I don't know about Mute, as he starts the clock at 1:12:10. I'm going to give him a prediction of a 8-minute and 7-second Final Kefka. What are you thinking, Joker Mage?
8 minutes, 6 seconds.
You're a jerk, and I love you for it.
We got to keep the meme alive.
Yes, of course. All right. Doom unfortunately misses, and HunnyDoo, reading the flags properly, as you mentioned earlier, multi-summon is on, so Golem is going to help on 3 of the 4 tiers, for sure, of this Final Kefka fight.
Well, we needed someone in chat to do the 8 minutes, 9 seconds, just to, completely fence you in.
Lock me out, yeah.
Of course, someone could also do 8 minutes, 6 seconds to lock me in.
All right, same thing here. Fixed Ice offering quick on the spicy chicken.
Yeah, we actually saw Glue unequip Sabin to do this.
Wow, HunnyDoo is done with tier 1 already. That is a 60-second tier 1. Absolutely blazing with speed. Not something you want if you are a fan of Team Guardian here, as HunnyDoo heading up to tier number 2. Alright, so even though Gao is a zombie, DrinksGlue has got quick and the Fixed Ice offering again, so we'll see if these 8 rolls can finish off some delicious spicy chicken.
Yeah, we'll see how tier 2 goes for Honey, because this can be the one where sometimes there's some bit of delay, just because, sometimes some of these bosses get a bit trolly.
Look at this Cyan. Oh my goodness, 24,000 damage per turn coming out from HunnyDoo there. X-Zone connecting with tools. I don't think we have mute for magic, which is the one thing that would help us out in this tier here for sure. And oh no, here comes Muddle. Oh no. Oh no, we have Muddle for Setzer. Let's see if we can knock him out of this state.
Okay, and Glue is through all statues at this point, so we'll be starting Kefka's very shortly.
Come on, Setzer, please just get hit. Look at this. Setzer's dodging like he's never dodged before. HunnyDoo's got to be careful here. Or he's got to make sure that he kills this boss, and Setzer can get reset on the next tier. Oh my god, he's got Golem up, so he can't even unmuddle him. Oh no! So what do you do here? Do you wait till the time runs out? No, because then all of his characters will die. Setzer's got the highest timer. Oh no. Alright.
That was...
Actually, I don't think Muddle resets between tiers. He might be confused up through the next tier as well. I don't know. This will be a cool thing to see, though. I've never seen this before. The other thing is, let's hope 10 hits actually drains through all of... speaking of drain, let's hope that 10 hits gets through all of the damage from Golem so we can get Setzer out of this confused state. Ashen Shigura with the subscription. Thank you so much for the sub. Get access to that Dabbing Yeti emote. And DrinksGlue here, hopping into Final Kefka. He's about 4 minutes behind, so he's got to make up 4 minutes here on HunnyDoo. And we're going on to tier number 3. So hopefully that gets rid of that muddle on Setzer. Meanwhile, DrinksGlue is going to be using Break to get rid of this long arm here. And there it goes. Gonna use Bum Rush and Fixed Ice offering, and oh no, Setzer is still confused. Oh no, W wind! Oh my goodness.
The W wind is really nasty right now.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh no. Setzer.
That's spooky.
Oh no, Setzer!
Oh! Oh my gosh.
No. The multi-kill! Oh, Setzer!
That muddle just like...
Setzer, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. I cannot believe what I just saw. The W wind into the self meteor. Unbelievable.
Yeah, like that muddle just set that all up from the end. That muddle was only there because we didn't have mute.
Yeah, and we couldn't get rid of the muddle because of the Golem cast earlier on in Tier 2. Wow.
Oh, that W wind was a perfect storm.
Oh man, well DrinksGlue takes the lead, and my prediction and your prediction now get nuked out of existence of how long we're gonna have for our final Kefka fight. And DrinksGlue, if he doesn't run into any speed bumps, then he could win it for his team.
And like you said, that golem cast,
Goodness.
like it makes sense
Wow.
to dodge the 10 hits, but it also prevented Honey from like being able to course correct after the muddle came out.
That is something else. Well, Setzer also blocked a ton of damage too, right? Like so Golem will only protect you for the amount of HP that the caster has when the spell is used. So theoretically, if Honey could have done enough damage to Golem, then 10 hits would have gone through instead of being blocked, right? So there was just a series of catastrophic events that led to that there. A cascading ream of failures, if you will, if you're in networking security. That's the term you would use.
Yeah, it's like you don't really think about one of those things being a problem, but then you see it like, okay, this is slowly building up, and then suddenly W wind into Meteor. That's not great.
No. Alright, so DrinksGlue using Morph with Setzer here. Morph allows you to do double damage on any physical or magical attacks, and it also reduces incoming magical attacks by 50%. So Morph is really nice and often overlooked, especially in the final fight. Your timer is going to be going for at least multiple tiers during this final fight, and if the timer runs out between tiers, you could be permanently morphed. And oh my goodness, quarter strikes. Can we have another disaster on our hands here? DrinksGlue had 3/4 of his team go down to quarter. Please heal your party. There we go. Yeah, Golem with the #1 anime betrayal there.
So Cyan jumped before that heal came out, so Cyan is still like under 1,000.
Hopefully he stays up in the air during 10 hits, because if he does, then he'll land on the next tier and he won't have to worry about getting damaged this time around. So
Interceptor's taking some of the damage for Shadow there.
yeah, so Setzer still has halfway full. Maybe not. Maybe it's like a third of the way full bar there for...
Okay, so Cyan could also potentially dodge whatever the initial strike coming out of tier 3 is, too, if he's still up in the air.
Magic, why are you such a troll? So Magic, this fight, decided instead of muddling Setzer, let's put him to sleep instead. Why couldn't you have done that last turn, Magic? Unbelievable.
Okay, Girl is down instantly because that Cyan just fell right on top of her twice.
Alright, so that means we got 40,000 HP of sleep to deal with. And here's the other interesting thing. DrinksGlue does not have calmness protection. So if he loses multiple characters here, there is a chance that HunnyDoo, in spite of all of his catastrophic struggles in this final fight, can catch up. But that gap is closing after Bum Rush #2 hits here. So,
and we just saw the most pathetic condemn of all time coming out of sleep.
Oh no. It's W win time again, folks. Oh boy.
Okay. I mean, we don't have a self-cast Meteor coming out right after this, so...
Yeah, I think we'll be alright. Because this will be 2 Bum Rushes, and that means Sleep is dead. Because he used Quick. And you cannot get counterattacked between your 2 turns when you use Quick. So really smart heads-up play here from DrinksGlue. And he also put Cyan up in the air, so at least Cyan is not going to get hit by Calmness. And let's hope that he blocks this as well. No, Setzer goes down. I think that's the best case scenario, though, for Glue. Setzer might have been his least powerful character there, between the fixed dice offering of Sabe and the jumping Cyan, the Bum Rush Shadow. But
yeah,
always hate to lose a character.
Yeah, we'll see who takes the place. Could be Yeti.
Oh god. Yeti is interesting because of the potential for counterattacks.
But yeah, I mean, Honey has come back pretty quickly from that pretty devastating setback. So we could still have a race. Yep, there's Calmness.
Yeah, when you're doing 24,000 a turn, Honey clawing up to the final Kefka fight. So DrinksGlue is basically one turn ahead of him, but wow, look at this turn. Oh my goodness.
That is a Cyan. That's Cyan putting in some work there.
Where do you guys get these Cyans, and when can I get them, please? 32,000 damage before the fight even starts. Kefka already in goner phase, and nobody took a turn yet. That is insane. Alright, so Glue, now going for it. He's got to use Bum Rush. Now's the time to crack your shields, if you can. And we'll see if Glue can finish this off before Goner. Meanwhile, HunnyDoo gets set for the first battle here, and Cyan is also going to chew through a bunch of XP for Kefka. So that's going to be about 22,000, so he'll skip right to Goner as well. But DrinksGlue does connect, and that is going to do it, folks.
Great job. GG.
124.01 for DrinksGlue, picking up the W there over HunnyDoo. Wow. You got to feel for Honey there. What an insane series of events.
And even with that, this has been very close. So Honey had quite a bit of power for this. It was just a very unfortunate muddle into all the other stuff going wrong for him.
Yeah, so official times 124.01 for Glue, 124.40 for Honey. Both putting Kefka in jail here with that condemned glitch. What a crazy match. And as we take a look at the standings, as I accidentally revealed what the outcome of the race was, here we go. So, since Team Guardian picks up that win, that means, folks, that they are going to be 5-1 with 12 individual wins. Doomgaze will also be 5-1 with 12 individual wins. However, I'm pretty sure that Doomgaze's 2 hours and 40-minute margin of victory is going to hold true. So Doomgaze, in spite of dropping this match, will end up being the #1 seed for their group in the bracket round, and Guardian will be the #2 seed. So DrinksGlue playing some catch-up there to win this match, but the last laugh goes to Team Doomgaze, who will still have that #1 seed. What an insane finish there, Joker.
Yeah, this was just a really great match, and I was just amazed when you saw that muddle. I hope that doesn't come back to haunt us, and it certainly did come back to haunt us.
Yeah, so we're going to take us back to the scene of the crime here while we talk about the rest of Warring Triads. So the bracket round starts next week, so we're done with the group stage, and we will have 8 teams participating in the bracket stage, where if you do not win in your best-of-3 series against your opponent, you get knocked out. It's a one-and-done elimination bracket here. Let's see if I could pull up the bracket in the meantime while you give some more insight as to how we're going on here.
I mean, I'm not sure what insight I can really get, because I haven't looked at the bracket myself, so this is my first time seeing it as well.
Oh, damn it. Of course.
But
this is what happens when you try and do stuff on the fly. It never works out here. So let's see. Yeah, and there's that unfortunate muddle. That infamous muddle. Here we go. Here we go. And let's move.
So this is going to work similar to the group phase, where each of the 3 members are going to have a 1v1 against the 3 members on the other team, and just the overall, whichever team gets the most wins is the one going on to the next round, right?
That is correct. So it's going to be similar to the weekly competition where we've been having, where it's, the 3 runners from one team fight the 3 runners from the other team. And as of this instant, this is what the playoff picture looks like at the end of week 5. There are some matches in the balance here. So, for example, my team, Team Illumina, may potentially replace Team Minerva over here on the right-hand side of the bracket if we could win our last match tonight. So that'll be really interesting to... I'm sorry, we'll replace Team Minerva. That was correct. I said it right.
And, if you are into college sports, we do have March Madness coming up, so you could use this as practice for filling out brackets. Just sort of fill out which team you think is going to go into each round. It's a lot. This is a lot simpler than the March Madness bracket, from what I remember.
Well, speaking of March Madness, we do sometimes have a tourney pick'em, which double down if you're out there. I see you're in chat. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Maybe we set up a tournament pick'em for the bracket section of the Warring Triads where anybody can participate. If you're interested in joining our Discord, that is the link there, where you could stay up to date on all things Worlds Collide. We also have a couple of marathons coming up that will feature Worlds Collide. The first is on Saturday, March the 16th at 12 noon Eastern. It's a 2v2 co-op multi-world race for Multithon. And then Friday, March 29th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern will be a showcase of Worlds Collide for Randothon 2024. We also have done a submission for RPG Limit Break, which is in the middle of May or the end of May. It's one of those two, as there is the unfortunate self-meteor cast there from Setzer. So, who would have thought? Cyan is now the new darling, and Setzer is now the new scapegoat here. Oh, there was an original pick'em for group and knockout phase. Excuse me. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was this week. I've seen a lot of really close matches, a lot of really great matches, and this is definitely up there with them. You see Honey just going to town through that first tier, fast as we've seen. Maybe not the fastest, but just super fast. And then that muddle comes out, and you're like, oh, I hope that doesn't have any long-term implications. Then the W win comes out. It's like, oh, that's spooky. And then the meteor, and it's like, oh, well, yeah.
Yep. You hate to see it happen. So, we got anything else we want to chat about, Joker, or should we send the people on their way here?
Yeah, we already mentioned joined our Discord. There's lots of stuff going on that's not just the Warring Triads. There's plenty of stuff to do. There's weekly seeds, there's living seeds, there's drafts, there's the AP archipelago multi-worlds going on. And you can, if you're at all interested in any of those or learning about any of those, joining our Discord's the way to go.
Yep, so thank you so much, Joker, for hopping in the commentary booth with me to do this absolutely awesome vodcast. I had a lot of fun watching this race back. I knew what the result was, but I didn't know how we got there. And how we got there was even more amazing watching it with all of you in the chat. So thank you so much for showing up and showing your support as well. I think that'll do it for us. Stay tuned for more Warring Triads action on our Twitch channel, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hi from the past. And we'll catch you on the next time. See you later, everybody. Peace out.